You decide whatever you want. The mic on?
Yeah, everything is on. Thanks for coming to my studio, Carl. It's nice to see you again. Can you tell us, can you tell for our viewers how you became the prime art buyer of Bangladesh?
Well, you see, buying art is one thing, but having a passion for buying art is completely different. Art buyers, they buy things that they think will, they do it to put it in their drawing room, in their bedroom, in their kid's bathroom. But when you're passionate about collecting art, you have to dedicate a huge chunk of your life just looking at art, meeting artists, talking to them, going to all sorts of events, and really finding what you like. And then going from there. It's not about, finding art that you know will sell. But what I do is I buy art that I like, I buy it, and then I make it something. Because I have bought it and it gets a label, it gets my name, it's bought by card. So it becomes something else. In a way I'm, giving it a space, putting it in a stage, and automatically something happens to it. And that's happened over the years. It didn't happen at first when I was collecting art. It's happened, people have started to like my taste. And what was your question again?
My question was,
how did I become a collector?
yeah, or I just straight said it to you, like, how you became an art buyer, quote unquote.
Not
I
a
didn't
collector.
say a collector, I said a buyer.
What do you think is the difference between a buyer and collector?
That's pretty complicated. If a collector and buyer, some people wants to introduce themselves as a collector. Most of them wants to introduce themselves as a collector, but I don't know why they have a problem to recognize themselves as a buyer. That's one question.
I think
But
you're playing with linguistics. It's like, I mean.
yeah,
You
put this
can-
apart then. Put this apart then.
You
I'm
can
saying
call
that.
an artist, or you can call them a maker of things, right? It doesn't really change the fact. So you can call me a buyer, a collector, connoisseur, whatever you want.
So then you're okay with the buyer thing.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Now my question was, when did it started? Like, I know you were you went to like pretty famous school in the city, and your family is pretty famous, and
Yeah,
also
but
you
you
have
see,
other businesses.
yeah, but let me tell you, my family wasn't always very famous, or they were famous not for what you would assume. And I myself started as an artist, but I saw how the market was. I saw that there's nobody to buy really good work. They're just buying work that they know, is like already famous. They're just having it in their collection. But being an artist myself and producing art, at one point I got really fed up because I couldn't pay my bills, I couldn't do anything, and also all my artist friends were just broke all the time. So I decided that, you know what, this, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop making art, and I'm gonna just support my friends instead. Not just my friends, but other artists. So my dad had a little factory, and I left art and everything, and I started working with him the whole time. And what he did was made, just moshla type of stuff. So I started really just pushing it, packaging it differently, exporting it. And suddenly I became the #1 exporter of Gorom Moshe. And that's how I transformed from an artist to an art buyer or art collector.
Was that because you thought, maybe deep inside you, you thought that, does it drive from the failureness or the unsuccessfulness of an artist when you became a buyer? Like,
I think it comes down to taste. I think being an artist is all about taste. Being an art collector is all about taste also. So maybe, to me, that taste sort of became primary, and art production or all of
no,
that.
give me a straight answer. Give me a straight answer. What did you thought that time you left your art and you start buying your art? Did you ever felt, deep inside, you were unsuccessful as an artist?
Again,
Or what are the means to become a successful artist?
I think being an artist, there's two types of artists. One is you can make your own art and nobody has to know, and you call yourself a successful artist. Or you can be a mainstream, you can be successful in the mainstream, and you call that success. It depends on how you define success. For me, I completely redefined myself, and I'm not so keen on labels. I'm not really interested in labels, and I decided it's not art producing, art buying. It's none of that is so important to me. It's my taste and how I see art. What I appreciate is what's more important to me. So whether I'm making it or you're making it or somebody else is making it, doesn't matter to me. I have bought work from my bua's daughter, and I framed it and put it next to SM Sultan in my collection. What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. I like it. It's my taste. It's my money. I do whatever I want. So that's my position.
But then again, it's a huge business. It's a booming business now in this country now, and and I want to ask you, how do you define your taste, or what is, quote unquote, your taste while you buy art? And my second part of the question is, give me an honest answer. When you look back now, which is more interesting, making arts or buying those things, or selling those things?
Well, being an artist is a very tiresome, lonesome journey. And I could spend my whole life being broke, making art that I like, and be miserable. It's a journey that artists decide to take on, knowingly. But when I also knew, but then when I knew that this is not what I wanted. Why should I suffer when I can just pay somebody for their suffering and collect their art and have a look at it every day? I don't have to suffer myself. Why do I have to suffer? I can go in my private jet wherever I want. I can go on vacations while an artist is like toiling in his studio making great work. It's like, why do I have to do all the work when I can just buy their work? Let them do whatever they want. That's the life they signed up for. I didn't. I signed up for this life, comfort. I'm only going to be here for another 30, 40 years, so I might as well enjoy myself. Why should I make art? I'll just collect art.
Now, tell me one thing, what do you think, what is the future of this country's art scenario? What will be?
Are you asking me if I care about the future of this country's art scenario, or what do I think is happening to the art, or my contribution to the future of the art scenario? Which one?
The first, then I would love to love to put these things in this way. The first thing is, what do you think about the future of this country's art or the art market?
I've become such an important collector and a patron of this art scene. I can almost decide the future of the art scene.
How you can decide these things? Because you have the control over the market. You're having a monopoly here.
It's not so much a monopoly because you can start buying art tomorrow. I'm not going to stop you. I can't stop you. I'm not an exclusive buyer. It just happens to be I'm the only one with enough passion to continue doing it as much as I do.
Or enough capital.
Yes, enough capital to do as much as I want to. Of course, I can put my money somewhere else. I can make more businesses, more of this. But I think I have enough, and so I put a certain percentage of my income to supporting other young local artists that I like.
But then again, you made a foundation which is one of the biggest taxpayer in this city. So it's a good business also. So it's not only that
things that I don't really want to talk about publicly. There's a lot of secrets that everybody has, secret muses that we all have. And it's like you can think whatever. You can think I'm evading taxes by buying art, but that's your thing. I don't have to tell you, right, if I choose not to. Whether I'm actually doing that or not is my business.
But you agreed with me to to talk free and people are really interested to listen from you.
I'll say this
and I'm sure thousands of young artists will watch this on their TV.
There's two parts to this. One, the first part is what you're really saying is like I can buy $1 million painting from New York, for example, and I have invested or something. Somebody owes me $1 million in New York. So instead of them bringing that here through the country's whatever and paying 20% or 10% or whatever, I can just buy an artwork for $1 million, and then I can put it through the customs saying it's only 5,000 taka, right? And it's a way of smuggling in money, right? That's what you're saying. That's what you're getting at. But you have to remember that most of the things I buy locally. I buy it here. So unlike other people, I'm not really doing that. It's not really. I have other things. I have a Swiss bank account. I don't need to pay taxes here. I don't live just in the city. I live all over the world. I have a house in Paris. I have a house in Venice. So it's like. I'm a citizen of the world. I don't need to pay a tax to your government. I live in many different places and pay taxes in different places. It's not like I'm trying to evade it. And if I wanted to do that, of course, I know a lot of people collect art for that reason. But again, I said this, I'm not a regular art collector. I have a different passion for it. So that's why I collect.
So. My next question is, you have come across with so many young and master artists of Asia, and of course in Europe and Africa and in North America. I would like to know which one is the most precious of your collection right now, and why do you think? And my other question is, how?
Can you ask me part by part, because I have a hard time remembering 3-4 questions.
Okay, then my first, my first.
Which one do I like most right now?
Yeah. Among the masters.
I have days. I have good days and bad days. I have days where I'm really happy with my art collection. I really like what I have. But some days I hate everything I have. Maybe that's why I keep collecting. Maybe I start hating everything I have and I go and collect more art that I like, looking for something I like. So it's an endless journey. It's you can make an artist can make something and not like it the next day. It's the same way I can buy something and not like it the next day. So right now I don't really have anything I like. I'm pretty frustrated. That's why I have time to give an interview to you instead of, being out there.
And among the young artists in the scenario,
In Bangladesh.
yeah, in Bangladesh, in Asia, like you said before, you are a global citizen.
Yeah. Whose art do I like the most right now? There is this young artist in Dhaka whose work I like a lot. He doesn't really know what's going on with his art. He doesn't know where he's going, but he's working. He's struggling, and I like that because it goes with the feelings I have when I'm collecting. Also, his name is Lavin Rahman. Have you heard of him?
No.
Yeah. So I like his art right now, and I'm
Where he's from?
interested. He lives in Dhaka. He's from New York.
Yeah.
He went there when he was like 10 years old. Came back when he was 27. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like his work at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I also like some other artists, but if you ask me which one I like the most, and that's the one I like the most right now.
Yeah. So, thanks for coming to my studio.
Yeah.
And I have a last question about you. I don't know
Can you give me
either. Okay.
I left my cigars in my car. What is it? Chinese cigarette?
Yeah, you can find this days.
Yeah, I've seen this in airports actually. I think it's the #1 selling cigarettes in China.
What they say. I don't have any idea about that.
So, what's your last question? I have to get going. I have a dinner to go to.
Good. May I come with it?
Yeah, sure.
I was just kidding. So, my last question is, how actually it's really hard to put in words, like as a person, like as a figure like you in the art scenario of a small country. How do you decide, or what is the process of yours while finding new stars or young stars? How do you pick
Well, you
them?
see, I don't really pick stars. I make stars.
How? I'm just interested.
I have many connections to many places, and art is something that's very. It's like it doesn't really have an intrinsic value. I assign it a value, right? Or the market assigns it a value, and there are ways to assign value to things, right? And like I said, if I collect something immediately, the next day the price goes skyrocket. Why is that? I don't know. Sometimes it's out of my control. Sometimes it's in my control. Sometimes, a magazine will feature an artist that I bought, and they will feature that artist because I bought them, and so it just goes like that. The market value goes up.
So then, by this you're saying, I have to pause for a bit. So by that you're saying it's not the quality of the art is most important, is the credibility of the buyer is more important to the market.
Unfortunately, yeah, I think so in many ways. Depends on.
How do you feel about it?
I mean, that's why I'm collecting, right? Because that puts me in control. As an artist, I have no control over that. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
As an artist, I can make great work, but if the right people are not buying my work, it's just just work laying in my room. This way, being a collector, I contribute more to the art scene than an artist would making work of 60 years. I can benefit more people and have a fun time doing it at the same time. And I get to spend good times with so many enlightened people, and it's nothing that I say in public usually, but sometimes I still make art, or I still want to make art, but it's been so long that I haven't made art that I just can't seem to go back to that same spirit. And that's really my loss, like I thought maybe I would make money and then support myself and I'll make my own art, but something happens in the process. And in the process you sort of lose that spirit, that energy that you had. So it's important having that struggle, and I missed out on it. I missed out on that experience, and now I have a different experience, and I'm okay with that.
Our time is up. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Maybe one day I will buy one of your art, and
Yeah.
I will become a greater art collector than you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Wish me luck, dude.